So are you looking for tips on how to stay motivated during the holiday season as a mompreneur? Awesome. Stay tuned. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 6 tips on how I stay motivated as a mompreneur. My name is Shay Toyette, and I help moms grow their business as they raise their family. First of all, very, very important that we are not super hard on ourselves. It's sometimes very, very easy to do so. At the end of the day, it's a holiday season and people are going to understand that it's that time of year. So my first tip is to plan. Planning is the most important. Planning in advance could possibly help you do wonders for your productivity around the holidays. So as December arrives, why not set aside some time for your business plus with all the holiday festies? I believe it's super important to you to prioritize tasks that you're going to complete during this time of year. There's nothing more satisfying to me as I get to cross things off my list. Sometimes as a mompreneur, especially with a 4-month-old and a 3-year-old, there's times I feel super overwhelmed. So at this time of year, it's super important that you have a plan of what is it that you're going to complete. With it being October, I think this is the perfect time of year to start planning out. That way, you know exactly what is it that you're going to complete in the end of the year. Plus, we have all these fun family festies with friends and families and loved ones that we want to do as well. It's very important as you're creating this plan that focus on what you can, not what you can't. So sit down and decide, okay, this is very important that I accomplish this, or I hold it off till next year. So take that into consideration. Also, it's very important at this time that you're realistic, understanding that this is the holiday season. Things may be a little bit harder for you to hit that goal. So take that into consideration as well. And so once you decide that you want to accomplish this during this time, it's super important that you write it down. Let me say that again. Write down what is it that you are going to accomplish. And then once you actually finish that item, then you move on to the next. And I personally treat my business as a job. I work it from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's when I'm truly focused on things that are to help us build our business. So tip number 2, it's super important that you enjoy it. And sometimes this can be very difficult. I know when I first got started in business, I always used to say, oh my gosh, I should be focused on my business. I shouldn't be enjoying time with my family. But at the end of the day, we all have families and we have people that we have to make happy. So it's very important that you do not do that. And that's why it's super important to plan things out. And that way you've accomplished it and there's no reason for you to worry, oh my gosh, I should be focused on my business and not hanging out with my family. One way to truly stay motivated is to take time off. We have to feel like we've accomplished or that we're, that the reason why we're working so hard is worth it. And if you're not able to spend time with your family during the holidays, to me, it's not worth it. And once I know I've accomplished something, I know personally that I can enjoy myself because I've done everything that's possible within my business. But as a mom, it's super important that we take our children into consideration, that, they're super excited for Christmas. Last Friday, I actually spent some time with my son and daughter, who's 3 years old and 4 months old, when we went to the pumpkin patch with my fiance as well and his parents. And we had a blast. But to me, there was a time that I possibly would have not taken that time off because I was busy working. To me, that's super important that my children are satisfied and that they're enjoying this holiday season as well because it's fun for them. So tip number 3 is do not overcommit. Understand that this time of year, there's going to be a lot of festies, there's going to be a lot of parties, there's going to be a lot of celebration with your family and loved ones. So for that reason, do not overcommit. Be super realistic of what is it that you can accomplish and don't feel bad for it. Tip number 4 is be sure to attend the right events. Also, as you're going to these social events, it's going to help you build your network, which is super important as you are building your business. But that isn't your main focus. Your main focus is building relationships, of course. But why not plan your events in a way that means that you'll meet people throughout your industry and have a chance to network. This weekend, we're actually going to one of the contractors that we work with in my fiance's construction business. We've been going to the party every year, and every year I get to build more connections than I possibly would have before. And a lot of people that attend, I haven't seen them since last year when I was pregnant. So I'm sure a lot of people will be like, hey, how's the baby? So it's lots of fun to reconnect with people as well. And these holiday parties allows us to do that, to reconnect with people. And because it's a casual setting, it provides us a great place to possibly meet new potential clients. Tip number 5 is to avoid multitasking. Tip number 5 is to avoid multitasking. And if you guys have read The One Thing, if you have not read that, then do so. Pretty much The One Thing talks about how to get things done and focus on one thing. You know, in the book, it's been a couple years since I've read it, but I do recommend it. It talks about the myth behind multitasking, that it's really not true. If you're focused on 100 different tasks, the truth is you're not going to be good at anything or complete anything. And guess what, guys? I have been there. So for that reason, it's super, super important that you are focused on one thing at a time and then move on to the next. And that's why I believe time blocking is super, super important. You'd be like, hey, I'm going to do this one task for this amount of time and I'm not going to focus on anything else. So if you've not read The One Thing, be sure to do so. Tip number 6 is to be super, super flexible. And you know, sometimes we are super, super hard on ourselves. You know, understanding things may not work out just because, for one, a lot of people are going to start clocking out. A lot of people are like, oh, it's family time. I'm going to go enjoy time with my family. I'm ready for the holiday season. Santa Claus is coming to town. They're not really ready to work. So for that reason, you know, there's going to be things that we possibly can't control. So don't overthink things, you know, just go with the flow. And as long as you're doing what you can, don't be too upset. Just be flexible. The holiday season is a time for us to have fun and enjoy the festies. You know, we've worked super, super hard throughout the whole entire year, and this, you know, the holiday season is a time for us to enjoy those labors that we placed into work. But at the same time, as it with being October, we can start being focused on taking a look at, okay, I want to accomplish this before the new year starts. And I feel like that's if let's say you have a big goal and you haven't accomplished it, you can be like, okay, the truth is I'm not going to accomplish it, let's lower it real quick, or I'm going to put more work into it and I'm going to get it done. So those are some things that you need to take into consideration. Next week I will actually be interviewing Wendy, who has a YouTube channel, who speaks about budgeting. She speaks about the envelope system when it comes to, you know, saving money or knowing what exactly are you spending your money on, or, you know, putting away a certain amount of money when it comes to gas or stuff like that. I thought Wendy would be a great asset to my channel. So be sure to check that video out next week.